In Yellowstone, Jaime, played by Wes Bentley, is beginning to see a decline in his situation. Jaime was meant to have additional opportunities available to him as a result of John's passing, including the possibility of being the next governor of Montana. On the other hand, after John's passing, Stephen Rawlings, played by Gareth Williams, was sworn in as governor and immediately began carrying out measures to diminish Jaime's power and influence. In addition, Beth, played by Kelly Riley, and Case, played by Luke Grimes, are getting closer to answering the question of who killed their father. However, Beth and Case are in need of evidence to support their belief that Jaime is aware of the circumstances surrounding John's death. It is becoming increasingly likely that the Dutton family will meet a horrible end. The 12th episode of Yellowstone's 5th season is titled Counting Coup. Case makes a courageous step, as stated in the logline of the Paramount Network. Rip makes a request for assistance to a buddy who lives in Texas, while the bunkhouse gives some thought to their future. Jaime is making an effort to conceal his actions. The number of casualties in Yellowstone National Park is starting to increase. Sarah Atwood, played by Dawn Oliveri, was brutally murdered at the conclusion of the episode that aired the previous week. The investigation into John Dutton's death is reopened at the beginning of the episode because the autopsy discovered evidence of a struggle. The news is brought to Jaime's attention by Sarah, which ultimately results in the two of them slapping each other in a furious confrontation. Almost immediately after the altercation, Sarah is on her way out of the house when Jaime phones her to apologize. Suddenly, a couple arrives in a car next to Sarah's and asks for directions. They are looking for Sarah. The man takes out a gun and kills her by shooting her in the head. All of this takes place while Jaime, who is in utter disbelief, is listening on the other end. The following is what we are able to state at this specific moment according to the schedule that has been made public. It seems as though episode 12 is going to last for a total of 1 hour and 6 minutes. There is still a lot of wonderful content that could be tossed in here, despite the fact that this is actually the shortest installment that we have seen for the second half of this season. The very last thing that we believe is going to happen is that those in positions of authority are going to be reluctant to provide answers at this point in time. As a matter of fact, keep in mind the current situation. Sarah Atwood has passed away, and as a result, the connections that the assassination group has to John's death are also, to a certain extent, strengthened. Nevertheless, there must be other individuals participating. Is that correct? There is a plausible explanation for the power outage, and we have a tendency to believe that there may be additional individuals in the world who contributed to the success of the situation. Figuring out what's going on here can be a significant part of the excitement. On Sunday, you will get the opportunity to watch the 12th episode of Yellowstone Season 5, which is something that the most of you are probably already aware of at this point. We are now on the other side of that devastating loss of Sarah Atwood, and as a result, aren't things going to get even more bizarre? That is something that we need to make preparations for, at the absolute least possible. More of what we are able to say is as follows. For the time being, episode 12 is referred to by its title, Counting Coup. In what way does this imply? This, also known as striking at an enemy, was thought to be a high honor for warriors who engaged in intertribal warfare, so it is actually a reference to Native American custom. According to Native American tradition, this was considered to be a high honor. Despite the fact that we are aware that there has always been a Native American presence on this show, it is still unknown what this signifies for the sake of the show. Also, keep in mind that Thomas Rainwater has demonstrated on multiple occasions at this point that he is eager to figure out how to collaborate with Beth and Case after all. This is preferable to the alternative, isn't it? You can gain a few more insights right now about what else is going to happen by looking at the entire description of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12 that is provided below. One of Case's brave moves is made. Rip makes a request for assistance to a buddy who lives in Texas, while the bunkhouse gives some thought to their future. Jaime is making an effort to conceal his actions. What will Casey's daring move ultimately turn out to be? In any case, we are aware that he is someone who has previously collaborated with a number of contacts from the past in order to determine who might have been hired to assassinate John. This is something that has the potential to result in his own demise, and we are of the opinion that he needs to exercise extreme caution with regard to the choices he makes, as well as the timing of those choices. What character is going to be one of the most important players by the time Yellowstone Season 5 Episode 12 rolls around? To put it another way, which of the relationships will be the most notable? In light of the fact that Sarah Atwood has passed away, we are now entering yet another era in which some of the parameters might be altered. It's possible that Jaime is just searching for someone else to lean on. Furthermore, might that be Case? The two are not going to be the greatest of friends at this point in time yet. Based on the way that conversations are taking place, it does appear that there are still some opportunities for one of them to approach the other, and vice versa. Tonight, you will get the opportunity to see the 12th episode of Yellowstone Season 5. What exactly can we say about the amount of time that this takes to run? First and foremost, I would like to bring to your attention the fact that this is one of those shows that has a tendency to go on for as long as it takes in order to tell some of its stories. Because of the rationale behind this decision, Paramount Network does not impose any kind of restriction on it. Without a doubt, why would they do that? What would be the benefit of doing it for them? To put it mildly, it would not be possible. On account of the fact that the Western drama does attract a significant number of viewers, they are able to be more liberal with this series than they might be with a great deal of other series. In response to a question about this topic that was posed to The Hollywood Reporter, the following is at least some more commentary from director Christina Voros. The situation is different with Case. Somewhere, Case is still able to see the brother he has known his entire life. A glimmer of something is visible to him. It is not yet time for him to give up on it. Everything that Jaime has ever known about his father is obliterated when he considers the possibility that he was responsible for his father's death. As a result, I believe that the fact that Case does not want to let go of that is more of a statement to his character, his loyalty, and his love for his family. This is because once he crosses over to the other side, there is no turning back for him. From this point on, things become really difficult. As a result of the fact that Case is still aware of how dangerous Jaime can be, we do not believe that he will continue to wait around for an indefinite amount of time in order for the more benevolent members of his adoptive brother to begin to appear. There is no doubt that Beth is going to exert her own influence, and at this point, we have a tendency to believe that a significant number of her opinions regarding Jaime are crystal clear. Additionally, it is possible that Case will have to devote a greater portion of his time to addressing a different matter, the individual who may have been hired to assassinate John in the first place. In light of the fact that they are attempting to wrap up loose ends, we are of the opinion that a significant ripple effect may be expected in the wake of Sarah's passing. After considering everything that has been mentioned, let's move on to the next topic of discussion, which is threats. We are aware that Sarah Atwood was one of the most prominent ones in recent times, but she is no longer with us. There is a possibility that Jaime is still out there, but it is not necessarily the case that he is intent on killing everyone in sight. At this time, the Duttons ought to be most concerned about the individuals who are affiliated with the organization that Sarah used to carry out the murder of John. In terms of tying up loose ends, they appear to be quite extraordinary, don't you think? In an interview with The Wrap, director Christina Voros discusses the reasons why the following information was included in episode 11, how they went about executing John, as well as the potential role that they could play in the future. One of the things that I think is extremely effectively done here is that the Achilles heel needs to be something that one isn't anticipating. This is because there are a lot of individuals who are always on the watch for danger. John was not at all anticipating that assassins would sneak into his bedroom, put him in a choking grip, and then stage his suicide. Also, Sarah did not anticipate that she would be put in such a precarious position so quickly as a result of that. Because it was such a specialized technological item, and because Taylor Sheridan really does his study when it comes to these law enforcement maneuvers, I also believe that it would be a very difficult subject to address in exposition because of the specificity of the technical aspect. It was way beyond your comprehension. In such case, you wouldn't be able to feel it. You definitely ought to be there to see what took place, in my opinion. Someone needs to appear as a witness to the events that took place. Case comes to the conclusion. Death discovers the truth. However, the audience is the one who is able to watch what actually takes place. And it is possible that the audience is more aware of the specifics of the threat moving forward than the characters themselves are, because they are still attempting to figure out what the mystery is. Except for the fact that they are trying to defend themselves, this group does not actually have any stake in the outcome of the game. It is possible for anyone to leave at any time because of this. All we can do is hope that you are ready for that. At this point, the second portion of Yellowstone Season 5 is not yet available to stream on Paramount, as was mentioned earlier. Despite the fact that Yellowstone is a Paramount show, episodes of the show can be viewed on Peacock because of a licensing agreement that was reached in earlier seasons. However, Peacock will not be airing the 12th episode of the 5th season anytime soon. Yellowstone's new seasons are often made available on Peacock several months after they have been broadcast on Paramount Network. Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 has reached the midway point, marking the middle of the season. There are 3 episodes left in the season, the most recent of which is episode 12, which will air tonight. For the time being, there is no information regarding Yellowstone Season 6, yet there are rumors circulating that the show will continue. Nevertheless, in the year 2025, Paramount Network will be introduced to yet another Yellowstone spin-off called The Madison.